Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Prescribing Lifestyle. Today, I have a guest. She is Michelle Kolze. She's a very inspiring guest. She had a life-changing accident that left her with a severe leg injury. She's going to tell you about it. And although this injury was expected to take only a few months, it's taking her 2 years and she's still healing. Her personal development journey had actually started 4 years before the accident. And this actually prepared her for the challenge, and she's going to tell you about it. She's actually an NLP medical master practitioner and a hypnotherapy practitioner as well. These tools have prepared her for this recovery and inspired her to share her message with everybody. She's created the ARC model, which is ARC, accept, reflect, and create. And she now shares it with her clients and audience. It's a powerful framework for navigating adversity, helping people accept their current reality, reflect on what they can be grateful for, and create a vision for the future they want. She's a coach and a speaker and an advocate for and she's got a remarkable story of resilience, and she's going to share with you how she became this way. So welcome, Michelle. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Avi.
It was an amazing story. So I've heard this story before. We met in the Speakers Institute a couple of weeks ago in a boot camp, and your story is so amazing. Tell us about your story.
Sure. Well, it all started back in November 2022. I was at a dance workshop in the Adelaide CBD, and there was a 10-minute break. It was on Franklin Street. I walked outside, and this day it was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The sky was dark and it was very muggy. So I ended up walking probably only about 300 meters down the street, and it's turned a corner. It started raining sideways. And then as I continued just down this street, I saw a flash out of the corner of my eye and heard a crack in the tree above me. And then a tree branch came down and crushed my leg. So,
Oh my God.
yeah, both my tibia and fibia were completely crushed. I hunched over. The rest of what in my experience, the rest of the tree just fell on top of me, and I was basically covered in by this tree.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Just such a freak accident.
It's like I was not expecting this. It was just I was literally planning on going back to dancing, enjoying the rest of the afternoon, and this just came out of nowhere.
Wow. And what happened afterwards?
So, well, I was taken away in an ambulance. They had to get the MFS guys out to lift this tree off of me.
Oh God.
It was about 10 minutes until the ambulance got there, but for me, it just felt like a lifetime.
Yeah.
And that was such a welcome sound, hearing those sirens. I was like, oh, okay, someone's here for me. And yeah, so I ended up in hospital, and at this stage, I was just like thinking it'd be like the time I broke my arm, be out of there the next day. I didn't realize the extent of my injury. I knew my leg was broken, but I didn't realize how bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't until, probably a couple of days later that the surgeon came in, and he was like, "There's your bone is there's a defect in your bone, as in
Wow.
there's some missing." So
It's probably all
that's when it
fragmented.
sort of hit me. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And then you had how long did you stay in hospital for?
It ended up, well, I thought that was going to be a week. It ended up being 3.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then there was some further complications in addition to all the things. So
Mm,
when I was laying under this tree, some
mhm.
storm water had just gone into my open wound, and
Yep, yep.
there was an infection
Mhm.
that got created. So that only came
Wow.
up after about, I think I was in hospital for about a week, and then started getting fever, and then they
Yep.
investigated and found this infection.
Wow, wow. And
Mm.
so 3.5 weeks, and then you were okay, but then what happened?
Uh,
Not really.
well, I had to go, and well, I couldn't come back to my house because
Hmm.
I live alone and have stairs. So I
Mm,
ended up going up to my dad's place in the
mhm,
Adelaide Hills. He had a granny flat, and he and his partner and my mum, they all took really great care of me.
mhm.
You know, bought me some bought me everything that I needed to be comfortable, and yeah, just made sure that that was all taken care of.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, so that was really nice. And then I was in a wheelchair because I couldn't wait there for a
No.
couple of months, I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah, before I could start driving again. And
Mm.
that was amazing. I love the freedom of being able to
Yeah.
get
And
around by
and
myself because I was feeling a bit
imagine not
close.
driving for 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, got onto the crutches and started walking around on the crutches. And everything seemed to be going really well. Like,
Mm-hmm.
for the next, say, 6 months, I felt like I was on the right trajectory and things were
Mm-hmm.
really on the improve.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it got to July, which was about 7 months. Yeah. 7 months in. And I ended up having to have another surgery, which I was not expecting, because
Mm.
my whole mindset around that time was really, the doctors have said it would take 4 to 6 months for this recovery.
Yep.
Obviously, not taking into account the impact of this infection, because
Mm.
then I had this other surgery scheduled. So
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be my sixth surgery.
Oh
Sorry,
my
seventh
God.
surgery. I'd already had five. I'd had five when I was originally in hospital. I had another one for bone grafts in March, and then I was sort of on the improve from there.
Yep.
And then it got to July, and I had to have this extra surgery that I wasn't
Mm.
expecting.
No. And then
Yeah.
what happened then? Did you, yeah.
Basically
How,
they swapped out. So I've got a metal rod in my leg, and they swapped that out
mm-hmm.
just to try and help the bone growth along, because the
Yep.
bone wasn't healing as they expected.
Okay.
So to be honest, I think that was probably a real low point for me, because I felt like, oh, I'm gonna get through, I'm gonna get through this whole journey of like recovery,
Yep.
only to then end up back on the crutches after I
Yes. Then
sort of
you've got to
started.
back to zero and then start
Yeah,
again.
that was the feeling for me. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And then, from there, it was sort of another, I sort of started improving. But from that point, I really had to take a look at my life and go, okay, what if, like, I switched my mindset from, I'm going to wait for this to all be over and then I'll start doing things, to,
Yep.
what if this is the best things are going to get for me? So then
Mm,
I really looked at, what do I want to do with my life? What do I want to create for myself?
mm-hmm.
I really accepted the circumstances
Mm-hmm.
for what they were. And
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like, yes, I might not be able to use my leg to its capacity beforehand, but
Mm-hmm.
I still have a leg. So I really looked at this
Mm-hmm.
from a state of gratitude. And
Yeah.
then I ended up going on a trip to Bali. I ended up,
Mm.
camping overnight in my swag on my own on a trip to Melbourne, and
Wow.
doing a few different things. Which was amazing. And I felt like it was almost like a new opportunity just to be grateful for just the little things that I did have. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's amazing how you can think like that. It's so easy to just keep pitying yourself, oh, this is happening to me. I don't know why it's happening, and
Yeah.
also easy to think negative, but you managed to turn it around. And
Yeah, exactly. And
yeah.
that really helped me as well, because I started getting some bad swelling and stuff again in November, and ended up going back to using a walking cane.
Oh
Um,
no.
and it was just really painful, and I'd had to take more painkillers than I ever had throughout this whole process. And then it wasn't for another couple of months until January 2020, 2024, where it's over 12 months after this accident.
Okay.
The infection flared up again. So
Oh
it turned out that
no.
my leg had just been infected this entire time. And yeah, like it just, and so then I ended up having to have more surgery. But at that point, I sort of just accepted that as well. And I was in hospital, I remember, because the nurse came in and she said to me, "You look way too happy to have just been in hospital." And I just said, "I'm just so grateful that this cause has been found, and
Okay.
I'm on my recovery path again, and
Yeah.
whatever I need to do, um, it's there to help me." So that was,
Wow.
yeah, and it's been like that since then as well, a little bit up and down. Like recently my legs started swelling again, but I've also gotten back into dancing and been
Oh,
doing what I
okay.
can do, or just moving my body as I can. I'm not I'm not performing on stage or anything like that, but
Okay. That's all right.
still enjoying
That's
these things.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're enjoying yourself, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
That's great. So you managed to change your mindset from waiting for things to happen to changing your perspective to be grateful for what you've got.
Yeah, exactly. And then, I mean, looking to the future as well. Yeah, like one of the things that I've really looked at, because I'm just like, okay, I've gone through this whole journey, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's not for nothing. So
Mm,
what I'm so grateful for is that I've been on this whole personal development journey. Before this all started, I've got so many tools and resources where I look at one of the things that I live by in life
mm,
is happening for you, not to you.
yep,
And I just look at, okay, what can I create out of this, and um, how can how can my story potentially help support other people? And I've
yep,
already, just from sharing a little bit, I've already had people, say to me the impact that it's had, like either in understanding their own recovery journey better, and
yep,
how massive it's been for them, or even people who are going into surgery and just having some of this story and resources available, like the art
yep,
framework, is
yep,
actually really
yep.
helpful.
Yeah, yeah. ARC framework. Tell us about that. Tell us again what ARC stands for again.
Yeah, sure, I'd love to.
Mm-hmm,
So ARC stands for accept, and
mm-hmm,
R stands for reflect, and
mm-hmm,
C stands for create.
mm-hmm,
So the A, accept, is really about accepting the way life is and the way that it isn't.
mm-hmm,
Yeah. And in terms of the ARC framework, this is useful whether it's something, you might have been through an accident or something like
mm-hmm,
that, and then you've got something in your life where you're like um wanting, it's almost like there's this mindset of this is in the way.
mm-hmm,
It's letting external circumstances sort of
mm,
get you down.
mm-hmm,
So it could be an accident, it could be something like not having enough money, or
mm,
um, having someone else who's impacting you.
yep,
But in reality, if there's something there that you can't shift,
mm-hmm,
then I think it's important just to if you can't change it, and if you're not willing to walk away from it,
mm-hmm,
acceptance. Otherwise, it's this constant battle within yourself going, I don't want this, but at the same time,
yep,
if you focus too much on that, then you can't really get to the second step, which is reflect, because
mm-hmm,
you'll just be reflecting on what's wrong here rather than
mm,
what else is available or what's there to
yes,
be grateful for.
yep, yep. So focus on the positive and reflecting what you can do, but
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
positive. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the reflect, there's two components in the reflection. The
Mm-hmm.
first is what is there to be grateful for? So in this current reality. So now that you've accepted the circumstances, sometimes that almost puts blinkers on where it's like you can't see beyond the problem. Whereas once you accept, it opens up a new, you know, I guess it opens up a new perspective where you might be able to notice things. So for me, I mean, it was just little things like actually being grateful to have my leg because, you know, there was a serious risk of that maybe not happening, like as in, especially with this infection. So, and also just being able to drive. So this is something that I take for granted for, like, you know, for a lot of my life, but it's definitely as soon as I was, it's really that feeling of independence that that I love. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so what is there to be grateful for? Even if it's the smallest things, just note them down. And then also reflecting in the future when you're at the end of your life, looking back, what's a small incremental change that you could make now that's going to be a big difference for you? And also, is this really going to matter from there? And this really helped me because when I sort of zoomed out a bit and went, okay, once I'm there, this is only going to be a small part of my life. I mean, it's you know, obviously at the time I was like, it's months, but it's years. But at the same time, you know, when I think about that in the scheme of my entire life, it's a thing to get
It's a
through.
very small chunk. And you're still young. You're much younger than me.
Yes.
And looking back, it's just a few months of your recovery or a year or so.
Exactly.
And then you still got maybe another 80 or 100 years to go.
Maybe. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's just, yeah, and that really just helps to put things into perspective because I think in life, you know, we spend a lot of time worrying about things in the now, but is it really going to matter in a week, a month, a year, 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah, yeah.
So just zooming out a little bit really helps.
Great. What about creates? Is that the next thing in the arc?
So create. Yeah, and so again, I think it's important to really do the accept and reflect first before doing the create, because I think a lot of times people, you know, they want to skip straight to the create part, but then it doesn't feel attached to anything that's possible. So I think create it's about looking at what are the new possibilities that have opened up based on having accepted things. Because my belief is once you let go of that resistance, new energy comes in, and then that opens up capacity to really look at what are the new opportunities rather than being in this blinkered state.
Great, great. That's amazing mindset. I mean, a lot of people would just curl up into a ball and just be grieving about the leg smashed and, oh my God, so many surgeries I've had and poor me and that sort of thing. But you've turned it into a positive experience.
Well, that's it. Yeah. And I mean, just for context as well, my surgeon has said at some point I'll need to have another surgery to take this rod out, to take all the metal out of my leg. But I'm essentially, the way that I'm living my life at the moment is like that might not even ever happen, you know, like as in I'll just take it as it comes. So I'm not, nothing's contingent on this happening. Whereas I think before, there were a few little things that I was putting off until I was better. Like I was like, I'll take physio a bit more seriously, and, you know, I won't travel properly until this is sorted. But yeah.
And you think differently now? You don't worry. Do you think differently now?
Oh yeah. Well, now I'm just like, it's actually irrelevant what happens, because I think if anything, what this journey has taught me is that there's so much uncertainty in life anyway. You know, someone might say it'll be a 4 to 6 month recovery, but they don't really know. So
no.
And you look at other circumstances in life where it's like that as well. You're so certain that this is what's going to happen, and then something shifts, and, you know, then all of a sudden it's like losing a job that you thought was secure, or, losing some money that there's so many variables that we just
That's
take
right.
these. Yeah,
That's right. Who knows what's going to happen? You go dancing and you have a freak accident and you nearly
exactly.
lose your leg.
Yes.
But you did lose your leg and you managed to keep your leg. But after how many surgeries again?
Oh, so it's been 8 so far now.
8 surgeries, but you still
Yes.
got your leg and you've
Yes,
gone
I
back
do.
to dancing.
Yeah.
And you were talking about before that you've trained in NLP and hypnotherapy. How do you think
Yeah.
that's helped you in that?
I think it's like I said before, this, I guess, life philosophy of life is happening for you, not to you. That's one of the fundamental concepts in NLP that I learned that I really have taken on board and implemented into my life. And aside from that, just being able to use the tools to shift my mindset because I know that there's always a choice in every moment on
Yep.
how you want to think. And
Mm-hmm.
also I'm aware that there's limiting beliefs that might be holding you back from doing what you want to do. So I
Yes.
can really tap into those things. And if I'm
Mm-hmm.
noticing that I've got emotions like anxiety or stress coming up, then I use some of those tools to really work through it. And
Yep.
yeah, I think a big thing around acceptance as well is forgiveness.
Okay.
So, and I think a lot of that is also around self-forgiveness. Like, so for example, I was asked the other day if I have any regrets in my life, but
Mm-hmm.
I struggled to actually connect to that because I figured I'm just like, if life is happening for me, then everything's correct the way it is, and I can't really turn things back and change anything. So I think
Okay.
just having that that concept really helps to then accept what's happened with this accident.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, that's probably the biggest thing. And I think as well, it's also helped me in that one of the concepts in NLP is values, for example. So
Okay.
there's things that shift, like
Yep.
your
Yep.
values is about how you live your life. So
Mm-hmm.
for some people, for my top values before this accident were like
Mm-hmm.
learning and growth and connection and
Mm-hmm.
that sort of thing. But
Yep.
then it's almost like I've had to set that aside in the time being for recovery and really just
Mm.
focus on health and well-being. So
Okay.
yeah, I think it's just been helpful then to come out of that and then reintegrate what do I want my life to be about now,
Yep.
and then set myself up
To create your next life.
to create the new future that I want to have, that I'm envisaging.
Yeah, I hear so much positivity that you have.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that is great. What about the hypnotherapy? Do you think that's helped you as well?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I think, yeah, with the hypnotherapy, I do a lot of meditations and
Mm-hmm.
even, just some self-hypnotic meditations just to help actually relax and
Mm-hmm.
shift things as well. So I think
Mm.
that's a invaluable resource. And, talking about the forgiveness, there's like hypnotic techniques you can do around forgiveness, whether it's other people or yourself,
Mm-hmm.
to essentially cut the energetic cords and stuff like that.
Mm.
And I just find that so useful to be
Mm.
able to use those tools as well.
Mm. What's your
Yeah.
meditation practice like? What's your routine?
Um, I I've been doing I've been doing daily meditation for the past 3 months.
Okay.
I was I sort of change depending on what I feel like on the day. So,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
for example, this morning I did a meditation and it was more just a Zen meditation,
Mm-hmm.
stillness and silence.
Mm-hmm.
I've also been to a Vipassana meditation retreat, which I went about 6 years ago, which is a
Yeah.
10-day retreat.
Silent
And
retreat.
yes,
You don't talk to anybody?
no, you can't even look at anyone in this retreat. It's
Wow.
quite quite the experience. So yeah, sometimes I practice that technique as well. Because that's about feeling into the sensations in the body, and
Okay.
that's quite nice. And then other times I'll just listen to some meditations on Insight Timer, for example.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
find I just tune in intuitively and go, what am I after
Oh, okay.
in this
I love
moment?
Insight Timer as well. I used to use it every day, but now I do a breath work in the morning every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah, breath
great.
work's quite good as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'll suit you.
Oh, I am quite into breath work too, as in I
Okay.
did a breath work session a couple of days ago, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
I feel like it's very good for yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
clearing a lot of
Actually,
energy in the body. Yeah.
yeah, I did too. I went to a breathwork class and did it for an hour. It's so relaxing.
Yeah.
I get into much deeper relaxation with those fast breathing and then slow breathing exercises.
Yeah. Do you find that you mix it up with the breath work? Because there's some which are quite intense and then others where it's a bit more subdued.
Yeah, yeah. This particular class I went to on the weekend was a LSD class, so it's supposed to be
Mm.
light, slow, and deep.
Okay.
But there are faster breathwork like releases, which is much faster, and it's supposed to stimulate you and get you into a more of a psychedelic state.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're the ones that I've done.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So did
Yeah.
you feel like on top of the world or riding a dragon or something like that?
I find it so interesting going through the breathwork journeys because like every round's different. And even I
Mm,
did 3 rounds the other day, and I guess just easing into it in the first one, but then feeling so much just free flowing energy,
yep,
in
yep.
the second and third one, and emotional release. It's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. I just love the afterwards, the integration phase afterwards. You get into much deeper relaxation that you don't even feel like you need to breathe at all.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's great. Well, and you're hoping to get into coaching. Is that what you're thinking that you are doing,
Uh,
or you're
yeah.
inviting
So
people already?
so I'm working with someone at the moment on coaching, and I have in the past as well done a lot of coaching work because I did my I think I did my NLP master practitioner training. It was pre-COVID because I think it was pre-COVID. It was in person. So
Yeah.
maybe the end of 2019, I want to say.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so that was uh and then hypnotherapy I did afterwards. But yeah, I've done plenty of coaching stuff with people, and it's interesting because I've sort of had this recovery journey over the past couple of
Mm,
years.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that dropped off a bit, but that was because I really had to look after myself and
yes.
put my health first and really recover. But
Okay.
honestly, I'm feeling now at a stage where I just want to share this with people. And
Yeah, yeah.
like I said, I feel like it's helped me so much in my
Mm,
journey that
mm.
I just want other people who are experiencing any sort of adversity or difficulties in their lives to be able to, I guess, get some inspiration from this, either by using the ARC framework or contacting me for one-on-one coaching.
Yeah, that's great. And you're a speaker. You go and speak about this journey.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I did the presentation a couple of weeks ago, and
Mm.
that was really well received. So that's really encouraged me to keep going, and I think it's just such an important message to be able to share with people. So that's where I'm
Yeah,
up.
yeah, that is amazing. Well done, Michelle. How can my followers find you if they want to contact you?
So either on Facebook or Instagram. I'll give you the links and you can put them up in the show notes.
Great. I'll put it in the show notes. Great. So people
Yeah.
can contact you all over Australia for
Yeah,
coaching?
absolutely. And worldwide as well. Like
Worldwide, Australia.
there's no
Okay.
barriers because all of this can be done online. It's really amazing what technology has opened up for us.
Yeah, now that after COVID, we're all used to Zoom now. No, me and you talking on Zoom.
Yeah, that's it. And yeah,
Yeah.
we're not even in the same state either. I'm in Adelaide and you're in Melbourne, so
Yeah. And if people want to find you to be a speaker about inspiration stories.
Yeah. Oh, definitely the Facebook or the Instagram page. Like, just reach out to me on there, and we can, we can definitely make it happen.
Great. All right. I
Yeah.
love the ARC framework and I love how you share your story and how positive you are throughout 8 surgeries.
Mm.
You're very grateful for what's happened. I mean, who would be grateful for a freak accident?
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, and lastly, I did want to share as well. I've got a meditation that I've recorded for the listeners as well. So we
Okay,
can put a link for that in the show notes as well, which is just a little gift from me, just to support anyone who might be going through some difficult times.
great. All right. So you email it to me and then I will put in the show notes in the link.
Yes. Yep. Sounds great. Yep.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. Thank you. How long is the meditation?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for coming on, Michelle. I hope everyone can learn to be grateful and accept, reflect, and create and learn this ARC framework that you formulated.
Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting me, Abby. It's been really nice to chat.
Thank you, Michelle, for all our listeners. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, we'll bring another inspirational guest. Thank you.